while I'm thinking about it, after the gift shop, we're going to be back on the bus at 10:30. That way we'll get you back into town in time for you to make it over to the lumberjack show. So we're going to have to leave the park here at 10:30. Okay? This is Man and Bear Hat. It's actually one of the fairly newer poles. The old Man and Bear Hat is in behind the Restoration Center. And in the Restoration Center, there's the Man and Bear Hat. His hat has come off, and they're trying to preserve it a little bit. They don't have any carvers here in this part right now. Where our carvers are mostly are down in Saxman, and that's just south of town. We have one master carver there. His son is also a carver, and there's 2 apprentice carvers in there. You guys are headed to Juneau, so you are going to see some totem poles on the docks up in Juneau. And what happened was they have commissioned Ketchikan to make 10 poles. Juneau's making 10 poles, and I'm not sure who else, but there's someone else has been commissioned to make another 10 poles. So eventually Juneau is going to have 30 totem poles on their docks, fairly new ones. Last year, Saxman, they carved 1 pole. It has an eagle on the top and a whale, and I think water or something on the bottom. And then one of the other carvers did another pole, and right now they're working on 2 really short poles. Those poles are 25 feet tall, and you'll see those poles on the docks on Juneau. They put them up on the dock on the 22nd, I think. Yep, 22nd of April, and they had just finished carving them, so it took them just about a whole year to get those poles carved and get them up there. Nathan worked on the one. He's our master carver. His son worked on the other one, but Nathan mostly just supervised. And how they do a pole is they have an idea, or they're commissioned a pole. They draw it out 1 inch on a piece of paper to a foot, and then they start carving it. They carve them flat. Sometimes they hollow out the back because the Western red cedar rots from the inside out, so they try to get rid of that. They might put a creosote pole or something and attach it to that. Now anything, lift the pole up, try to get it off the ground, because where they used to dig a hole and stand the pole up in that hole, pack all the dirt and gravel around it, that is right exactly where the pole would start rotting. So now they're trying to save them. Poles last for about 80 years, so they do last for a long, long time. We have another one, Otter Boy. It's a newer pole in the park too, and the older one is back at the Restoration Center. They use an elbow adze, and they still use an elbow adze to do the carving. Now they've started, they have, well, they used to have bone, teeth, jade, anything that was sharp that they could chip away, and all these little chip marks, that's all the elbow adze and their chipping motion. That's still how they do them, but now they have a chip adze, which is made of metal. It's a little bit bigger, kind of has a lip on it, and they can take bigger chunks of wood out when they need to, and that's kind of how they kind of start their poles. Then they have lip adze, which is a little smaller, and they can do a little bit more finer, but when it comes down to the absolute finer detail, that's when they use the elbow adze. And they still do that today. So it might take a week or 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how intricate the pole is, to do 1 foot on a totem pole. Master carvers can charge upwards of $5,000 a foot. There was a fellow, he commissioned them to do an anniversary pole for his wife for her anniversary. It was a 20-foot pole, and it cost him $40,000. Yeah. But it takes them a long, long time. And I know they made some money to do these poles for Juneau, but it's going to take them a while to get all the poles done. Black, the rust color, and the blue-green are the original colors that the people used. Charcoal or coal was the black. Iron oxide is the rust color, and copper oxide is the blue-green. it was the ladies' job to make paint. What they would do is stuff a whole bunch of eggs, salmon eggs or roe in their mouth and chew them all up and then spit through their teeth the oils and the saliva. They would mix that with the copper oxide, and that was their paint. They would paint the poles with that. So ladies, if you need a part-time job, guess not. Anyhow, now they just go to Ace Hardware. The old paint used to last for 40 years. Now Ace Hardware paint doesn't last quite as long.
Right.
But they don't ever repaint the poles. They just leave them age naturally. And they just take them down and set them aside. So there was a Cadget bird on top of that pole over there. It blew off one winter. A couple of winters ago it was pretty windy. And so you're going to see it in the Restoration Center. We're just going to kind of walk through there and then back. I'll show you the poles that are laying down, and that's where they'll stay till they've totally disintegrated. And then we'll go into the clan house.